Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Early Edge. Thanks for joining us the day after Thanksgiving. We've got a packed show for you today. We got that standalone NFL game. We got a lot of college football to talk about, a lot of soccer, some NFL props, a busy day at the brand. I'll tell you all about that in a second. Let's take a quick look at the recap screen. And I do emphasize quick because this is not a good look. Me and Mackenzie Brooks did not have a great day here. Prop Stars goes 1 for 2. Mike misses his one and only play. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just not good. We got to bounce back from all of these red X's. These days happen, and hopefully we're going to bring the noise today with some good picks and some better energy. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to BPE Friday.
Whoa! Whoa! Let's go! Get that tryptophan out your system. It's time to go ahead. Whoa!
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. Hello, Mike McClure. Hello, Buckets. I don't know what you were doing, Buckets. I'm going to have to ask you in a second. But first, everybody needs, especially after a poor day at the brand with picks, everybody needs right now a chip me up.
Good morning, Sia. Good morning, Buckets. Good morning, Mike. Good morning, Snake. Good morning, Early Edge fam. Yes, I am a cranberry sauce guy. Yes, I am a stuffing guy. Yes, I am a sweet potato casserole. Marshmallows on my face. I ate so much. I cashed some tickets, and I'm ready to get some more. Let's go.
Man, this cranberry sauce thing has really taken over. I saw Joe Neuenfeld in the chat. He said, I didn't touch one cranberry yesterday. Yes, solidarity on the non-cranberry sauce people. Mike, you were shaking your head. Are you pro or con cranberry sauce?
Yeah, there's no cranberry sauce here.
Thank you. Buckets, you showcased a literal can of cranberry sauce yesterday. A, did you actually taste that, or was it just a picture from afar? And B, what was that thing you were doing at the beginning of the show?
I'm not going to even address A because we all know how much I love cranberry sauce. But B is I found this lucky rock this morning, Sia, while on my walk with Freya. I have not lost a bet since finding this lucky rock. So I'm going to hold on to it the entire time I give my takes here, and we're going to see if it works out.
The rock you found just hours ago.
About 20 minutes ago. But
yes,
I'm feeling good about it.
Yes, undefeated so far. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get started with some picks. Thank you for being in the chat. Ask any questions you like, whether it's NFL related or maybe college football. We got a lot coming your way. Chip, you always start us off with a college football pick, which I believe I'm so discombobulated with like what day it is, but I'm assuming this Georgia Tech play is for today.
Correct. Yeah, this will be tonight. It's interesting. Actually, the Georgia Tech rivalry, which is who can tell me what the rivalry name is? Clean old-fashioned hate. Great rivalry name. Clean old-fashioned hate. So, clean old-fashioned hate is going to be on a Friday night for the first time since the mid-90s. Normally a Saturday spot. It's a family affair in-state. We love it this time of year. And I think that Georgia Tech has a chance to be frisky in this game. Georgia has been a little bit of a slow starting team anyway, but the Yellow Jackets, especially now that they're using that 2-quarterback system, both Haynes King, the veteran, but also true freshman Aaron Philo, who ripped off that game-winning drive against NC State just last Thursday, he presents a lot of dual threat that can keep defenses on their heels. I think Georgia's defense is going to need a half to sort of figure out exactly how they want to defend it. That gives the Yellow Jackets an opportunity to score early, 7, 10 points. Any of that, given the way that Georgia handles its first halves offensively, should be able to have us inside this number. Again, 60 minutes, 4 quarters, I could see Georgia covering the 19, 20 points. So let's just isolate the mismatch, which might be the adjustment period. Bees plus 10.5 in the first half.
All right, Georgia Tech, the Bees, first half plus 10.5. Love that play. Is that really what the rivalry is called?
Yeah, clean old-fashioned hate.
I mean, that's not even catchy, though. Like, what are we doing? Is that
well, listen, here's the deal. So, Georgia's been crushing them forever, right? I mean, like, Georgia Tech had John Heisman. Georgia Tech had like that 222-0 win over Cumberland back in like 1915. But Georgia Tech, in the modern era has always played little brother. So clean old fashioned hate, it's, they don't fight for an axe. They don't fight for an old oaken bucket or a keg of nails. It's just like, hey, let's get together and let's play against your cousin. Your big cousin's probably going to win, but you're still going to go out there and play it.
Speaking of old, when you just said, here's the deal, For whatever reason, you reminded me of, this is a very dated political reference, of Ross Perot. You just said it just like Ross Perot would have said it. I don't
Or like Dana Carvey doing Ross Perot.
Yes.
Yeah, that's kind of that's really where it's coming from, honestly.
Dana Carvey, so underrated. All right, Buckets. We transition from college football. We got a lot of college football to come, by the way, folks, to soccer. And you are currently and still proudly undefeated with your new Lucky Rock. You have 3 plays to give us today. That's a lot. So get started.
3 plays, and we're going 3-0. But I just want to say, how lazy are college football rivalry matches there? The good old clean. The Columbus-Cincinnati Derby is called the Hell is Real Derby, and then you've got ones called like the Eternal Derby. You get some fun stuff in footy. I'm just throwing that out there, Sia. No hate.
They've played it 118 times. You're going to go back 118 years ago and tell them that what they came up with, I bet you think America was pretty, corny too. Huh? Unpatriotic. Listen, I'm going to get out of the way.
He turned it around on you there, Buckets.
I'm never going against Chip again. But what I am going to go for is the Brighton versus Southampton match in the Premier League this afternoon. And we are betting on Joao Pedro anytime goal scorer at plus 120. I know I'm claiming to go 3-0, and then I go for a plus odds play here. But Joao Pedro missed the first 6 matches of this season with an injury. Since he's been back, 4 games, 4 goals. They're now playing Southampton, which has the worst defense in the Premier League. Might as well make it 5 games and 5 goals here. He is a guy who is hungry. He missed playing, and he has been scoring for fun here. Brighton get at least 3 this game, and if they're getting 3, 1 is coming from Pedro. Second play here, we're going to Italy's Serie A in a matchup between Cagliari taking on Hellas Verona. And I'm keeping this one classic. I'm keeping this one simple. I'm keeping it sexy. Both teams to score at minus 135. It's a little bit of juice, but considering Cagliari has played 16 games this season and they've only kept a clean sheet once, and considering Hellas Verona has played 16 games this season and they've only kept a clean sheet once, I've got no problem betting on both teams to score when you have 2 teams who don't even have defenses anymore, who are desperate for points in this matchup. Third and final play, we are going to the Svein Bundesliga and a matchup between Schalke 04 taking on FC Kaiserslautern. And the only reference I can give for this, Sia, is season 3, episode 46B of SpongeBob SquarePants. There's an episode where a townsperson says, how many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? Replace old man with sports books, because I have bet on Schalke 04 for the last 5 BPEs in a row, and we continue to hit this wager. Schalke 04 has been an absolute treat when it comes to goals. I'm taking both teams to score and over 2.5 goals at minus 110, because if you're looking at the stats, Schalke have conceded 26 in 13 matches while scoring 23. Kaiserslautern have conceded 20 in 13 matches while scoring at 23 as well. 2 incredible offenses, 2 non-existent defenses. 3-0, baby. 3-0.
That was an all-time grade A take. That was perfect. And for the record, who can forget that specific episode of SpongeBob SquarePants? I think we all knew where we were when we were watching that one. So that is an elite reference. Love the takes. All right, we got to get to some more picks. Let's get to a lot of Dana Carvey stand-up. Put your favorite stand-up comedian in the chat. Somebody asked me this yesterday, who my favorite stand-up comedian was, and I didn't have like a great answer. I went with Mitch Hedberg, which is super old school. He's not even alive anymore, but put your favorite stand-up in the comic in the chat. All right, let's go to a SportsLine pick. We've got an NFL standalone game tonight. We got a lot of picks for this game, or I should say today, on SportsLine. So obviously, if you're a member of SportsLine, you're probably already seeing a lot of picks, and you're in the Discord, so you're very much aware of this pick. We're taking the favorite. We're laying the points against AOC. Aiden O'Connell starting at quarterback. Raiders not looking great. Chiefs, not looking amazing either, I suppose, but they're laying the 13. Mike, your reaction to this play? I mean, I know you don't have an official play on this game, but it's your Chiefs. What is the state of the franchise? I know they're getting Isaiah Pacheco back.
Yeah, they get Pacheco back. They get some help defensively as well. I think it's a good spot for them. Look, they probably should have lost that game to the Panthers. Honestly, it's really more about the state of the Las Vegas Raiders right now at this particular point than it is the Kansas City Chiefs. If you're looking for alternative ways to play it, I think you could play Raiders team total under, whether that be isolated to first half, isolated to full game. I do expect a pretty big effort from Kansas City defensively, and everything is essentially must win here. Since they lost that game to Buffalo, they really do need that number 1 seed and want that number 1 seed. So they still do control the destiny. It's a big number, but it's a big number for a reason. There's a drastic difference in these teams. The thing I will say, while the team hasn't been great overall, they've actually taken a step back defensively a little bit lately. Patrick Mahomes himself has looked pretty good. He's put the team on his back a lot there. Remember in the offseason, the Raiders with the little Kermit doll dressed up as Mahomes. This could be the opportunity for a little payback there from that. So I would definitely not be interested in taking the points with the Raiders. I'm not playing the -13. If I had to play something, though, it would be that side.
Mike, let me ask you this. I think Xavier Worthy, I mean, obviously, he needs to grow up as a wide receiver, just get with the footwork and all of that stuff. But it does seem like they're targeting him more. One prop I was considering in this game was his over. It was in the low 40s range. Doesn't it seem like they're making a concerted effort to get him involved?
Yeah, they definitely are. And I would say he's been good. It's just the awareness level is near zero when it comes to like where he is on the field catching some of those passes. Like if we're talking, if the sideline was a foot wider, we'd have probably 3 more Xavier Worthy highlights this year that we'd all be talking about, right? So I think that'll come as he continues to mature, but I definitely think they're going to continue to target him. And I really think having the full complement of weapons is what's going to help him a lot. You don't want to back Xavier Worthy when they're shorthanded and they're having to go to him often. You want to back Xavier Worthy when the number comes down, and then essentially you're looking at something you can cash on 1 or 2 plays, which is what you've got here. I like his longest reception over. I don't mind the full yardage over as well, but the longest reception, I think he gets 1.
All right. And by the way, you mentioned the Carolina-Kansas City game. Me and Mike and Meg Schaub will be on at 11 o'clock on the Fantasy Football Today YouTube channel, delivering our Week 13 main slate picks. That's in 45 minutes, literally in 45 minutes.
Big
so come
slate.
join us there. It's a big slate. And I got to tell you, you mentioned Carolina. Bryce Young is under 5K. David Moore is on the field a lot and catching a lot of passes. That might be my favorite stack. You'll have to tune in to find out. But we're gonna get on that show Mike's top 3 at each position, our cheat sheets, and a breakdown of every single game from a DFS and potentially from a prop standpoint as well. All right, BetMGM customers, you can sign up today and get up to $1,500 in bonus bets. Just place your first wager of at least $10 and you will receive up to $1,500 instantly if your bet loses with bonus code EDGE. That's bonus code EDGE, EDGE. All right, we got to get to Mike's official pick. We got to get to my official pick. Chip's got more picks. We're going to do it right after this message from our partners.
CBS Sports HQ, giving you college football coverage unlike anyone else.
We're talking Big Ten.
Pre- and post-game coverage.
Are you encouraged with the way that this team responded?
Along with breaking news.
A lot of movement in the rankings this week.
Highlights and expert analysis.
That streak could be in jeopardy here.
Sure. What was your main takeaway from this game? How impressive was his domination?
That really changed the football game.
Let's go ahead and have some more fun.
Another wild ending.
The chaos continues.
Turn to CBS Sports HQ.
We're back on the Early Edge, brought to you by BetMGM. Samuel Gallego says, not enough college basketball talk this week. Samuel, I don't totally disagree with you. We'll start heating up when it comes to that. But I will tell you, Samuel, there are a few picks on SportsLine already for the college basketball slate today. So as you know, this Early Edge show is just a microcosm of the picks that SportsLine has to offer. So Samuel, go check out some college basketball picks there and in the Discord as well. Mike, we transitioned from college basketball talk just a little bit to college football. What are we taking?
An old play. We've played this a lot over the last few years, and it's going to be Tennessee here in the first half. I'm going to lay the 6.5 in the first half against Vanderbilt. It's definitely not a road game for them. It's going to be closer to a home game for sure. When I look at this team at Tennessee, the way everything is shaken out in college football over the last few weeks, they're back in a fantastic position to make the college football playoff. The goal here is simple: win the football game. The easiest way to win the game is to start fast, like they typically do in these kind of matchups here. Now, Diego Pavia and Vandy, they've been solid most of the season. However, they've definitely fallen off a little bit of late. I think this is a tough matchup for them against Tennessee. When you look at where Diego has been good, but also has struggled, is when he's under pressure. And Tennessee's defensive line has a significant advantage in this game. They're going to put a ton of pressure on him early. So I like this spot for Tennessee. I think they're going to have success in the run game. I think they're going to hit a big play early. And I think they're really going to get out to a hot start here and cruise to a victory in this game. Again, been an up and down season in the SEC. Everything's been absolutely crazy the way it's shaken out over the last few weeks, but they have an awesome opportunity to get into the college football playoff and potentially get a pretty solid seed here if they can have a convincing win because of the way Vanderbilt has played so far this season. So I think it starts early here. Love the fact that we're not having to lay over a full touchdown in the first half. Give me Tennessee first half -6.5.
All right, Tennessee first half -6.5 from Mike McClure. I'm going to transition to my NFL pick for Sunday. It's a prop pick, and I do want to lay some groundwork for some props I'm going to give out later today. But Buckets, real quick, there were people asking if you had an INT prop for today's game. It's the Kansas City Chiefs, who you know, of course, are captained by one Patrick Mahomes, and the Las Vegas Raiders, captained by Aiden O'Connell. Do you have an INT prop, sir?
You know what they say, Sia. The juice only matters if the bet does not hit. So I am tossing this grenade, and I'm going with my boy A. O'Connell. Woo! At -150. That sounds good to me.
That was very dramatic. Very good stuff. All right.
And also, I threw that rock, so I'm going to go get that real quick. I'll be right back.
That's a bad omen for the lock. Oh, no.
Hey, the rock's got to toughen up. All right, let's go to my prop pick. So I'm going to be on the prop show. I've got the 11 o'clock show with Mike and Meg, and then at 1 o'clock, for the first time this year, I'm going back to my stomping grounds, right? I used to be on that prop show. It's going to be me, Dave Richard, I believe, and Prop Stars along with Eric Cohen. So come join us at 1 o'clock for the prop show. One of those props I'm going to give out, it's the same prop I gave out last week, which lost, by the way. I had this up against the Ravens. Quentin Johnston decided he wasn't going to catch any balls, and it just was an ugly game for the Chargers overall. I like Justin Herbert over 1.5 touchdown passes. Take out that Ravens game, and the three of the 4 prior games, Justin Herbert, who has been airing out a little bit more, did hit this. He had 2 touchdown passes in the previous 3 or 4 there. So I like him against this Atlanta defense. This is a 47.5 point total. I think we're going to have a bit of a back and forth here. And without J.K. Dobbins, we really don't have much of a run game to speak of. We got Kamani Vidal, we've got Gus Edwards, and that's about it. Unless Justin Herbert rushes for another touchdown like he did last week, I think all of this is coming through the air. They're slated to get, in my opinion, around 3 touchdowns. I expect 2 to be through the air. And again, I think this over is probably going to hit. I think we're going to see some points in this one. And so give me Justin Herbert over 1.5 touchdown passes. One thing I will say, the Atlanta pass defense, not very good. Their pass rush is really bad. So Justin Herbert should be able to sit back in the pocket and pick this defense apart. The thing about Atlanta, too, they haven't allowed a lot of rushing touchdowns for whatever reason. It's not a great rush defense, but when it gets to the red zone and the green zone, they really kind of buck up and they are a force with respect to defending running backs. So something to consider, a little extra to consider when it comes to Justin Herbert throwing 2 touchdown passes or more. That's my play. I'll have a couple of more plays, if not more, on the prop show later today. All right, Chip. We got to go back to college football. You've got a couple more picks for us like you usually do. You've got the floor.
All right, so we're going to start on Saturday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern time with big time on CBS as top 5 Notre Dame goes to the Coliseum to renew its rivalry with USC. They are playing for a jeweled shillelagh, and also Notre Dame trying to secure its spot in the college football playoff. So USC is an interesting team. Now, they did get bowl eligible with last week's win against UCLA. Well, isn't that special? Okay, so at least we don't have to worry about, the Trojans having any extra motivation to be able to go out there and get bowl eligible. No, but I am thinking about Notre Dame's defense, which has been excellent, which plays with a nastiness and an edge. And in the front 7 have some certified NFL players in that group. But they haven't had a lot of wide receivers that have been able to win one-on-one matchups like I think USC presents. But USC's a wild card because Miller Moss hadn't been great, but Jaden Maeva didn't really spark the passing game either. Lincoln Riley, though, with his ability to scheme guys open, is still a threat. So I don't want to mess with USC, though I saw somebody in the chat mentioned Notre Dame -7.5. That is my pick for the expert picks on CBSSports.com. But for a best bet, I'm just going to isolate Notre Dame team total over 30.5 because they've been running the ball effectively. They do a great job punching it into the end zone when they get into the red zone, thanks to having Riley Leonard and that dual threat ability. Now, this is, Notre Dame could win this thing 34-10. Notre Dame could win this thing like 34-28. I'd rather stick with that 34 part of it. Fighting Irish team total over. And just like I told y'all last Friday, okay? I'm not a math guy, okay? I understand. I'm more of letters, okay? American Athletic Conference, AAC. What is missing? There ain't no D in the AAC. They ain't playing no defense in the American. You saw it as yet another overcashed on Thursday night between Memphis and Tulane, and I think we'll see it again in this Army UTSA game. So we're going Army UTSA over 54.5. There ain't no D in the AAC.
Ain't no D in the AAC. Love to see that. I love to see all the picks in the chat. I'm going to miss some names here, but it looks like Rick Funcannon, Brad Betts is in here. Chris Kish giving out Formula One. Go ahead, Chip.
Yeah. Rick had the over 6 in Carolina, Florida on the ice this afternoon. I will say that again, I am going to be not a hockey guy, but I love the Carolina Hurricanes and I watch them a lot. Their issues in goal are bad. They still have so much firepower offensively, but Frederick Anderson is out for a significant amount of time. Pyotr Kochetkov has been working his way back. They are down to Spencer Martin and Yanni Peretz. I mean, it's a group that can give up some scores. And the Panthers and the Canes, when they go toe-to-toe, it's always a little explosive. So Rick offered that over 6. I would support that for sure.
I also want to point out that people are pointing out for me that Prop Stars hit a first touchdown yesterday. We only gave out one. We didn't give out one per game. We only gave out one for the 3 games. And Prop Stars gave out Sam Laporte at plus 1,300. So listen, it was a bad recap screen. Shout out to Prop Stars. I do also want to point out I gave out, obviously on Twitter, I gave out like that plus 8,000 SGP, but I gave out like a realistic even money parlay, which also came in. That was one of my official picks, at least on the show, but it was a parlay. It was the Lions minus 2.5 alt spread and the Cowboys money line. So that hit at even money as well. So it's still a really bad recap screen, but there were a couple of hits that just, we don't normally reflect on recap screens because we're usually just talking about our official plays on SportsLine. Let's see, Buckets. We had one question, and I think it is from Wheelman 185. Any plays for English footy today?
Yeah, we already gave out a play for English football today.
Southampton.
That was one of the plays.
Yeah, Joao Pedro, anytime goal score at plus 120 for Brighton.
There we go. Well, I should have just gone to the recap screen then, folks. Wheelman, you must have joined us late. That's totally okay. If you join us late, always hit the recap screen, ask any questions. Sorry, I should have been on that. Let's take a look at the recap screen before we get out of here. Yeah, we've got some English footy in here. Justin Herbert over 1.5 touchdown passes, minus 108. That's my play for Sunday. Buckets. Pedro, anytime goal score. That's Joao Pedro, anytime goal score at plus 120. Cagliari versus Hellas Verona. Both teams to score minus 135. Schalke 4. FC Kaiserslautern. Both teams to score plus over 2.5 minus 110. I almost got there with that one. Mike McClure. It was close. I was like 80% there. Mike McClure, Tennessee first half minus 6.5. Chip Patterson, Georgia Tech first half plus 10.5. Notre Dame team total over 30.5. And Army UTSA over 54.5. And our SportsLine pick for today. There's a lot more SportsLine picks, by the way, not just football related, but of course college basketball, NBA. We've got some NHL on there too. The SportsLine pick is in fact Chiefs minus 13. A lot more football talk at SportsLine and in our Discord. So make sure you're already a part of that. Very easy to join if you're a SportsLine member. Ladies and gentlemen, that was a great Friday. More content coming your way. I mentioned FFT DFS. Got the prop show at 1. So much content. We don't take days off here, folks. Thanks for being a part of this. Endless Eliante, Sean Ritchie, Jeff Stenberg, Drew, KC3, CLE fan. It's been a great show. On behalf of Chip Patterson, Mike McClure, Buckets, Jake the Snake on the 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s. Let's have a great Friday, folks. This is the Early Edge. I'm the Counselor of Cash. We rest our case.